good evening and welcome to Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. It is coming to you live from our studio here at Adesawe Kanda in Accra. My name is Martin Asiedu-Dartey. Coming up this evening, Ghana Education Service closes its teacher recruitment portal ahead of the original deadline after receiving over 40,000 applications for just 7,000 available positions. Tonight, we engage stakeholders on the implications, the concerns, and the way forward for affected applicants. Also coming up, customs activities across ports and borders across the country severely hampered as freight forwarders and traders begin a nationwide boycott in protest against rollout of a new AI valuation system. And University Teachers Association of Ghana, UTAG, welcomes government committee set up to probe allegations against the Director General of the GTEC, the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission. And we'll delve into the specifics and bring you details while the bulletin rolls on. We are live around the world on 3news.com. Before we bring you these details, let's find out what's happening in other stories making rounds in the country. And you would recall also that some of the key issues that have dominated public conversations is not just on education, but the fact that teachers who are supposed to help our wards when they come to school are currently, some schools are complaining of being understaffed. And that is what government is trying to cure, for which reason the education minister announced that they were opening the portal for new recruitments. But it looks as though the people who are interested in teaching now is above what government expected. We'll get into the specifics in a moment, but Grace Hamwa Ajiman joins us with a new summary. Hello, Grace.
Hi, Martin. In the summaries tonight, the Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA, together with other members of the Joint Business Forum, has clarified that the ongoing strike action by freight forwarders and clearing agents at Ghana's ports remain in full force. In a press release issued on April 14, 2026, the group dismissed reports suggesting that the industrial action had been suspended following a meeting with the CEO of the Ghana Shippers Authority, Professor Ransford Jampo. And in a related development, a former member of Parliament for Anya Sotuum, Dr. Dixon Adumakokisi, has called for the immediate removal of the Publican AI system, describing its implementation at the port as harmful to businesses and the wider economy. The clarification follows growing public concern and misinformation surrounding the security and defense partnership between Ghana and the European Union. Away from that, in a historic address, Minister for Lands and Natural Resources and Acting Minister for Environment, Science and Technology, Emmanuel Amakofibua, has announced the launch of the nation's first ever Marine Protected Area, MPA, the Cape 3 Points Marine Protected Area, spanning 700 square kilometers. Reflecting on his own childhood by the seashore, the minister noted that coastal communities have always known intuitively that the sea could not give forever unless we learned to give back. And a 4-year-old boy, Godsway Nuchuga, has died, while his 35-year-old elder brother, Seth Nuchuga, is in critical condition after a building collapsed on them during a heavy downpour at Ewutu Papase No. 1 in the Ewutu Senya West District. The incident occurred on Tuesday, April 14, 2026, when the siblings were reportedly asleep in their Atakbami structure when it gave way under the pressure of the rains. That's it for the news, Miss Martin.
Thank you very much. Let's settle for the details. We're starting from the education front. As you may well know, the portal that was opened by the Ghana Education Service in just 4 days for teacher recruitment has been closed down. This is because over 40,000 applications were sent through the system, far exceeding the 7,000 positions available. Authorities say that the decision to shut down the portal early was necessary to manage the high volume of submissions after it was opened on the 10th of April 2026. Earlier this year, over 500,000 young Ghanaians applied for roughly 5,000 to 10,000 available positions in Ghana's security services. This has once again ignited conversations on intense youth unemployment and the need for a swifter intervention. Speaking at a news conference in Accra, the Minister for Education, Martin Asiedu-Dartey, confirmed the development and assured applicants that a transparent selection process will be followed already. Let's listen to what the minister has been saying regarding this recruitment, which has led to an oversubscription, as some have described it.
In Ghana, if resources were available, we should be employing and recruiting up to 50,000 teachers across the country. But owing to budgetary constraints, we are unable to do that. The Ministry of Education received clearance from the Ministry of Finance to recruit up to 7,000 teachers with degree and diplomas. And accordingly, the process has been advertised in an open, transparent manner. My understanding is that it reflected need because many, if not all, the district assemblies were involved, particularly those that need teachers very critically. And as the portal opened, when it got to 40,000, the Ghana Education Service instructively closed it in order that we didn't have a stampede of numbers. And therefore, those who were fortunate would be critically examined and assessed in terms of their readiness, their competence and qualification, and the best 7,000 of the over 40,000 applicants. At least my understanding, as I spoke to the Director General of Education yesterday, Professor David, even within that time period, we had up to 40,000 applicants, and we have only room for 7,000 applicants. So we take the best out of the 40,000. Better luck next time for those who have an opportunity. We do have clearance from the Honorable Minister for Finance. We will do our best. We don't want to have a stampede of it. Thank you.
And that is Martin Asiedu-Dartey, the Minister in charge of Education, justifying why the portal, which was open to allow teachers or people who were interested in teaching to apply, had to be shut down. Although it was expected to go for a few more days, just between the first 4 days of opening the portal, over 40,000 applicants have gone through, have successfully placed their applications. But government insists that it has space for just 7,000. So it raises the concern again about the fact that there seem to be many more people who are seeking for job opportunities vis-a-vis what exactly or the capacity that is actually available to absorb all these individuals who have expressed interest in this profession of teaching. And again, the minister noted that if resources were available, over 50,000 would be, recruited countrywide. But as of now, the resources that have been given them allows them to recruit for just 7,000, or the space or the capacity they have to fill is just 7,000. So they will make do with the 40,000 applications they have, looked through and pick the best 7,000 out of them. And he wished the remaining individuals better luck next time, and especially those who were probably now thinking of also applying. They probably would have to do that later if government does open the portal or gives indication that many more people are expected or are needed to be recruited. Dr. Peter Patayanti has joined us on the phone line now. He is the Executive Director for the Institute of Education Studies, IFEST. Doc, a very good evening to you. Thank you for your time.
Good evening, Martin.
To start with, this is not surprising, is it? Before the minister even gave indications that they were going to employ some 7,000, we have heard time and again about people who have just completed the teacher training colleges and asking for postings. So it is not entirely surprising that over 40,000 people put in an application just within 4 days.
No, it's not. It's not surprising. I think it's a problem that we have created ourselves. The system, because I still don't understand the model. You have to wait 2-3 years before you say you are recruiting teachers. teacher recruitment should be a yearly affair, well planned, so that you don't have such a backlog that you need to attend to. So for me, it's not surprising. It's just a reflection of our inability to plan ahead and think broadly in terms of our educational system. Again, I also believe that we have not done well for ourselves in terms of identifying what really the vacancies are and thinking through possible teacher deployment, and then we would now have thought about the possibility of teacher recruitment. So the whole model that we have adopted is not something that works for anybody, and that is why we continue to have this challenge. Unfortunately, people are being emotional about this because they feel that it is a right for them to be recruited. But I think that this problem needs a more high-level thinking than we are doing currently.
The current system, you say, is problematic in itself. What would be some of the suggestions you would give in how the recruitment is done? Because on top of my mind, I know that we should at least have a national database of, for instance, teachers who are already in the system, how many every school has, who is ready or about to go on retirement, how many vacancies are available in these secondary schools. Then from national to regional to district, so that kind of breakdown. Do you think the current system has this kind of database with which government should be working with?
I think that database is not reliable. We have had, on the background, we have had a lot of conversations around the reliability of the data that is being used by the Ghana Education Service and the Ministry of Education. And I think that is where the problem starts from. So in the first place, this is more like a demand-supply situation. You will need to know the vacancies available, and then you will need to know the number of people who who will be applying for that. And you should also look at this from the broader context of your ability to pay. As we're talking, there are teachers who have been recruited that have not been paid for. They are waiting for their back pay and all that. So you also have to look at your ability to pay. And that is why this means that every year, if you are a strategic planner, every year you would have a number of teachers that you are recruiting, and that forms part of your strategic plan over a long period of time. And if you are doing that, it also informs you about the number of teachers that you are producing. That also leads to a conversation about what should be the focal point of our colleges of education in the 21st century. Because if you stick to these trainers, or teacher trainees, all that they tell you is that I'm being trained to go into the classroom. I'm being trained to go into the classroom. Can we continue to do that? For a long period of time, especially where you always have a lot of people being trained being graduated into the system, but your vacancies are not matching up to that. These are conversations that we need to have, and that is why I think I said that in this country we don't do more systems thinking. We don't look at problems and then we try to solve them. We always want to massage the problem to make people feel good, and then it comes back staring us in the face. So we need a broader kind of thinking around this thing, and I think that the minister is in the position to lead this restructuring, to lead this conversation, to lead this planning, to ensure that once and for all we deal with this problem of people being trained and feeling entitled that they need to be in the classroom, and aside that they can't do anything for themselves. I think this is the kind of conversation that I believe that we need to have, frankly, and out of putting emotions aside.
I get the sense that you are pushing the agenda that this current government or the minister in charge has an opportunity to probably reset the teacher recruitment strategy or policy, or how we've been doing this over time. Are you also, in the same vein, confident that he will get the backing of all the key stakeholders along the value chain to say that, look, we have a challenge like you are indicating. However, to address it, we probably need to use these new sets of strategies. And maybe top of your mind, can you give us 2 or 3 ways you think the current administration should look at properly addressing the concern of teacher recruitment?
Yeah, so Martin, let me say this. The minister had opportunity. In fact, they started the National Education Forum, right? And all these problems have been in the system. I'm suspecting that somewhere in that report, which unfortunately have not been made public, somewhere in that report, there would be discussions on that, and there would be possible recommendations from it. I think that should have been the first point of call before even thinking about opening the portal and other things. That should have been the first point of call for the minister to start working with. I have done a paper on rethinking how we do this recruitment. That there's a standard way of training teachers, and just like any profession, this idea of automatic posting is something that cannot continue. And I know that it's got a political dimension, and when you say this, people are going to lose votes and other things. So it's going to be difficult for any person to frankly come out and say that we have to take off the automatic placement. So what you need to do is to ensure that every year you know the number of vacancies that you have, right from the district level to the national, to the regional to the national. Vacancies are declared. The president have already talked about decentralizing the teacher recruitment process. So every year you know your vacancies, you know the number of teachers that you need. You open the vacancies. These people apply. It could be 2 or 3 times in a year, especially because you would always be collecting data to know these vacancies. And then you fill those vacancies. Then you also have to rethink how you are training your teachers in the colleges of educating. Because at the end of the day, if their mindset is that we are being trained to go to the classrooms freely, and if that is what the curriculum is offering them, then they would continue to put pressure on you to even recruit them where you do not have, 1, the ability to pay, and 2, where you don't even need them in the classroom. So these are conversations that I think the minister should start initiating, so that all stakeholders are brought on board. We face the problem frankly, have a frank discussion on it. And then at the end of the day, we have a solution to this problem of every year a bad complaining about they not being recruited, and then there will be other people coming from the university who don't have any right to say that they are also supposed to be recruited by a certain kind of commitment from government.
Certainly, it's a multi-faceted challenge ahead of us. And maybe my last question to you would be, do you also get the sense, or having been in the sector for all these years, is there a correlation between the needs in the classrooms and the teachers being churned out from our teacher training colleges? For instance, maybe in the northern region or the south or eastern, whichever region, do we, for instance, have information to the effect that maybe they need X number of science teachers? So maybe they look across the training colleges and say that this particular training college is producing these number of science teachers, so we are already matching them. So by the time they are done with their course, or maybe 6 months to their end of course, they know where they are headed to. Do we have anything like that? If not, is it a proposal you think that it should be considered, where we have a specific need and then we have the institution that is churning out the teachers to meet that need?
Ideally, that is how it's supposed to be. Unfortunately, we are training more, as it looks like we are training more teachers as compared to the vacancies or the needs on the field. And that is why we need to have a rethink about, are we training the teachers specifically only for the classroom, or there should be additional kind of training so that the teacher is not conscientized that after this program, this is where you are supposed to be going. And let me make this point. These teachers that are even, these places where the needs are, the teachers normally go there 1-2 years, and they are looking for avenues to leave that particular community. And that is also something that government should be thinking about as they even recruit the 7,000. It is clear that the places that they are going to post these teachers to, maximum 2 years, most of those classrooms will be vacant again. What is government's position on that? So we need to have that broader conversation. And I think that the minister needs to quickly initiate this so that we'll be able to solve this problem once and for all.
Doc, thank you so much for speaking to us this evening.
You're welcome.
Dr. Peter Pateanti is the Executive Director of the Institute of Education Studies, IFEST. And I mean, it stands to reason also that the 40,000, I can bet my bottom dollar that this 40,000 are not just new teachers. Certainly, it's possible that there are teachers who are already in the system who are looking to either change their schools or go higher or probably go to a different region, etc. So all of those are part of the 40,000 where government says that they are overwhelmed by the number of applicants, and for that reason the portal which was being used to recruit has actually been shut down for now because the vacancies available is just 7,000. Another big concern has to do with availability of resources or the funding to ensure that this new recruit or the 7,000 that will be recruited will be paid monthly or according to what their terms of agreement would be. Where does government get that money, or where is that money going to be coming from? And that is what the education minister alluded to when he said that if they do get extra funding in the future, they certainly will open the portal to recruit more people, more teachers. But as it stands now, the money they've been given, the assurance in terms of funding they've been given by the finance minister can take care of only 7,000. So it looks like it's more than meets the eye, and certainly the conversation that we have started should continue so that we are sure that our wards get the right teachers have the best environment to impart knowledge for the betterment of our country. Your thoughts are also very welcome because this is a very national subject, or it's a subject that cuts across the nation. Education is key, and so I'm sure many of you listening to us have had an education one way or the other, or know someone who is in the process of getting that education. They need to get it right, and the teacher plays a significant role in the impartation of that education or the learning, the environment, etc. Government has a role to play. You also have a role to play. So one of that role is to send us a message on how you think that government can best approach this subject so that we can proceed as a country in doing the things right and doing them at the right time as well. In a related development, the education think tank EduWatch is raising concerns over what it describes as growing inequalities and inefficiencies in Ghana's education system. In its first quarter 2026 education policy monitoring report, EduWatch says that despite billions of cedis allocated to the education sector, major gaps remain in implementation. We have more in this report.
In 2025, the government allocated about 42 billion cedis to the education sector, representing 15% of the national budget. But findings from EduWatch's latest monitoring across 10 districts suggest that this funding is not translating into equal access and quality education. The free sanitary pad program, while improving attendance and hygiene among girls, faces challenges with uneven distribution. Kofi Asari is the executive director of EduWatch.
Monitoring of the pad distribution found positive impact on girls' participation and hygiene, including reduced reliance on improvised materials, as well as reduced financial burden on teachers. These teachers previously used their own money to buy sanitary pads for poor girls. And so government providing free sanitary pads meant that a burden had been lifted off their shoulders. There were noticeable inconsistencies in product quality and suitability. 3 variations of pads were distributed: thin, mid-thick, and thick. Only Adenta municipality received all 3 variants, while the other districts received either 1 or 2. This negatively affected effective use, especially for girls with heavy menstrual flow. We call on the Ministry of Education to ensure a mix of all 3 types of pads in every district.
Although capitation grants are now being released on time, EduWatch says the amounts remain inadequate, with many schools struggling to fund basic operations. The situation is further complicated by the lack of funding for school-based examinations.
About 145 million Ghana cedis was allocated for capitation grant in the 2025 budget, at a per capita of 15 cedis per student in public basic schools. Despite improvement in the timelines, the amount of the capitation grant remains inadequate. Schools consistently reported that allocations did not meet operational needs, including minor repairs, teaching materials, and administrative expenses. Of enormous concern, however, is the lack of a budget to finance school-based examinations. The reality is that a lack of funds for school-based examination means many schools in deprived communities are writing examinations from the blackboard, with zero exposure to printed paper examination. This is unacceptable and must end.
While the government continues to invest in school infrastructure, disparities in funding across districts persist, with deprived areas receiving significantly less support.
Interviews with pupils revealed improvement in the quality of food provided under the program. However, concerns persist regarding the portion sizes, which are often insufficient to meet the needs of pupils. Again, delays in food delivery by some caterers continue to disrupt teaching and learning, indicating the need to have stronger supervision and enforcement of school feeding rules by school heads.
EduWatch is calling for a shift towards data-driven planning, equitable resource allocation, and stronger accountability to ensure that increased spending leads to better outcomes for all students.
Still listening to 3FM 92.7. This is Hot Edition. Stay with us. When we return, we have many more stories for you, including the impact of the port boycott because of the AI publican system that has been introduced. Stay with us. You're listening to 3FM 92.7. This is Hot Edition live from our studio here at Desawe Kanda in Accra. We're also streaming on Facebook and on YouTube. Just look for 3FM 92.7. This is Hot Edition. My name is Martin Asiedu-Dartey. Let's turn our attention to the ports now. And freight forwarders across Ghana's ports and border posts have begun a 4-day boycott of duty payment in protest against the government's introduction of the publican AI system for determining charges. The action is already having an immediate impact on port activities. Joseph Armstrong Goldalogbe visited the Tema Port area and reports that many banks around the Long Room and Golden Jubilee Terminal were virtually empty with no agents present to pay duties. Let's listen to this report he put together.
The Tema Long Room is where most clients and agents typically pay their taxes and duties. However, a visit on Tuesday morning revealed that many agents were absent following a boycott declared by the leadership and members of the Freight Forwarders Association. A task force was seen moving around the area to ensure that all members complied with the directive.
In the morning, we deployed our team to go and ensure or to go and monitor the situations. And the feedback is very well. At Golden Jubilee, at MPS, at TBT, at Save Bond, ordinarily, like Tuesday, today, you've seen so many of our people going around and about. But today, Like you can see for yourself, there is nobody here.
Paul Mensah is the General Secretary of the Freight Forwarders Association.
Invitations from the Ministry of Transport, which we are preparing to attend on Thursday. We're also waiting for other calls, but as I said, for now, still the action is in force. We have a lot of issues that have been raised over the past few weeks and still waiting for solutions. We are only looking for solutions.
The president of the association, Stephen Ajokache, added that the boycott is also being observed at other land borders across the country.
No, we want to tell government we are never against their policies. They should get it very clear. All the borders or exit points, they are also complying. That is what is going on. We are only telling them they should come back to the table again and restructure the issue, and we are done. That is all we are looking for.
The Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Anthony Kwesi-Sapon, has been explaining the purpose of the introduction of the Publican AI system.
Publican will help the officers to accurately determine the country of origin, because that's a key factor in the determination of the taxes. Second is a classification. Every product manufactured and traveling across the world has a unique code. And when you miss that unique code, you will not pay the right taxes. And finally, how much is an item paid for which the taxes ought to be collected? Publican does not make a decision. Publican facilitate and assist the officer to arrive at a decision.
A coalition of Trade and Freight Forwarders Association on Monday, April 13, announced a 4-day boycott to protest operational challenges associated with the Publican AI system.
And that's a report put together by Joseph Armstrong, who was at the ports today, the Tema port specifically, to gauge the impact of the 4-day boycott that was announced by individuals who do business at the ports, especially freight forwarders. Let's now speak to John Awuni, who is the president, Food and Beverages Association of Ghana, one of the groups we are told that has raised concerns about the AI system. Mr. Awuni, good evening. Thank you for joining us on 3FM.
Very good, my pleasure, and good evening to your listeners.
How much business do, you as in the association, with the ports? Food and Beverages Association, we thought you did less with the ports, but give us an idea.
You do less
how
in the
much
ports.
you work with the ports.
When you take your salary, how much of your salary goes into food and how much of your salary goes into drink? Look at the percentage, then you will determine the size of the Food and Beverage Association in the country. We are not talking about any product. We are talking about food, which is a necessity. And we are talking about beverages, including water, which is also a necessity. And that is the group that we represent in this country, both importers and manufacturers. And both importers and manufacturers are representing our group very strongly in the action that we are taking. So we represent, we literally affect about 60% or more of the people in this country are affected. And that is our group. So if you say the AI, the group that it affects most, then we'll say it's the food and beverage sector.
Wow. So give us an idea, what exact problems do you foresee or have you faced, for which reason you have decided to boycott the port activities?
You see, technology advancement is something that one cannot overlook or ignore. And we all are very much aware about the AI. And we know that AI has come to stay and will advance. But to the extent that a country will embrace such a new technology and put it at the nerve center of the country, which is the port, and leave it to take decisions for businesses, is quite very, very risky. And we allowed this system to operate for about a month. And we now, from day one, we have received reports about the trouble this whole AI thing is creating. And we said, let's allow and then see the full scale of it. And after a month, we have had serious errors. We have economic authorized operators who are recognized over decades as very, very compliant, who don't play with their values, who don't do anything. AI cannot recognize them. We have value of goods that have come into the country. Literally, AI has hallucinated figures that are very outrageous, in some cases about 300, 400%. And wherever you now want to appeal against these figures that AI has hallucinated, you will have to go to an appeal center at the Ministry of Finance or whatever. And it will take you weeks, in fact, or more, to be able to get it. And whilst you are appealing, your goods are under demurrage, and you are paying demurrages. People pay $10,000, $20,000, $30,000. In fact, in some circumstances, at the end of the day, the economic authority to phrase the AI comes back and apologizes, and then they say, okay, well, we didn't know that your economic, so your goods, your figure have not been played with, so go and clear your goods. Now the question is, you go and clear the goods, will the GRA or the institution responsible for this compensate said customers? No. So it leads to huge losses. We are saying that instead of the AI aiding trade, the AI has come out to be a disruptive item, a tool at the port. And unlike the situation where the GRA commissioner is saying that the AI just facilitated, the AI has become a major decision maker at the port and has paralyzed the custom officers there. They have instructed custom officers that in the event where the AI, a custom officer comes out with values of the goods, and the value of the goods that the custom officer comes out with, and the value of the goods that the AI comes with, when the AI is higher than the custom, then they must accept the AI. Where the custom is higher than the AI, they must accept the custom. What kind of operation is that? What exactly? Why are you trying to kill the private sector?
Yeah, that's actually quite interesting.
The Commissioner General says it's not a situation where AI just facilitates, doesn't take it. It's very wrong. That is very deceptive.
Right, but Mr. Awuni, so again, I think the biggest challenge I hear in your submission has to do with the charges specifically. And based on the charges you are seeing since the new AI system was installed, vis-a-vis what you were paying prior, what percentage of increase are you seeing?
The percentage of increase in some cases is 100%, in some cases 200%, in some cases 300%. But if the margin of error was very small, or the difference was very small, well, let's talk about, you are talking about 2%, 3%, 5%. Well, many business people are said we will not come out and then waste everybody's time doing whatever we are doing. But if you bring in goods, and originally a bag of rice was valued at 300 cedis, and now it has been valued at 900 cedis, or valued at 600 cedis, what do you think the fellow will do? So at the end of the day, the fellow cannot clear the goods. And so it's very frustrating. On all that business, the business association leaders and members of the business community are asking is that we are saying that just suspend this tool and let's see what will, and let's look at all the challenges. If at the end of the day the challenges are worked out and then we can bring it back, we bring it back. And remember that the AI is as good as the one who is inputting the input. So if the one inputting the input is not a very good AI engineer, you're putting out wrong requests.
Certainly.
And the AI will continue to give out wrong information.
Right.
Garbage in, garbage out. And that is our concern. And government have to listen to this, that at the end of the day, we did not just start fighting against this thing from the start. We have waited for about 1 good month and more, and we are coming back and giving them feedback. And I think that they could have just listened and said, okay, let's hold on. Let's go around the table, open the system, this.
Right.
But that's not so. They are not prepared to do anything like that. And that's unacceptable.
Certainly so. And I also hear in your submission that you have raised these concerns, but you're not getting the kind of feedback you want. The other side of the argument that I've heard, some government officials or people who are in favor of the new system make is that it looks as though importers, exporters, or people who are actually working at the ports largely were either under declaring, for which reason the quantum of charges they were supposed to pay was less, or was at the amount they were paying, and that the AI system is actually able to calculate the exact amount. So this excess of 100%, 200% you are talking about is supposed to be the exact amount you are supposed to pay, unlike what you were paying previously. What's the response to this argument?
My response to this argument is that, let me say that if there is a major fight that we have to engage on in this country against, is the fight of corruption. Corruption is riddled all over this country. We have all been here, and we have seen people who have come out from school boys, and they have entered politics. They have suddenly become so rich, and they are flouting riches all over. We are here, and we have listened to Public Accounts Committee, and we have seen the rot at ECG. We have seen rot at Ministry of Health, and all over the country as they present their accounts at the Public Accounts Committee. If AI, including the GRA themselves, if AI has become a panacea to combating corruption in this country, I challenge them, let them put AI in all those places. ECG, let us send it there. That they keep on claiming that they have a power loss of 32%, revenue collection at 45, 50%. Let them send AI there. Let them send AI to the GRA itself. Let them send AI to Minister of Health and all over. Since AI has become a panacea to combat corruption, then we have found the magic one. Let them send all over, because the port is not the only center of corruption.
Exactly. And my last question, Mr. Awuni, would be, so what's the way forward? You just want government to sit with you and review this AI policy so that all of you can be on the same page. Is that it?
That's exactly what we are looking at. So they have to first of all suspend it. Let us sit and look at it. We are all very level-headed, and fortunately this government has a certain level of goodwill among the business community. So if they sit around, we will look at it, and then we all will appreciate. The Commissioner General just issued a request that businesses, AGI members should meet him, and then they will see how they can iron out some challenges relating to the AI. So he himself admits that there are challenges. So it's not as if we are crying for something that doesn't exist. The Commissioner General himself, if there are no challenges, he shouldn't be seeking to meet the AGI members to explain to them and then address their challenges.
Right.
There are massive challenges that will eventually hurt this country.
I get you. Thank you for bringing, this perspective to the conversation and the explanation you've given us as well. We thank you for your time, Mr. Awuni.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
And that is John Awuni, the president of the Food and Beverages Association of Ghana, one of the groups that have boycotted the AI system, the publican AI system installed at the ports, which a number of freight forwarders have raised concerns with, largely because they say that comparing how much they used to pay vis-a-vis what they are paying now, the AI is charging them exorbitant port charges in excess of 100, 200, and sometimes 300% of what they used to pay just about a month and a half ago. So I think there are legitimate concerns being raised here, and like he's indicated, the Commissioner General has asked for a meeting in the coming days in an attempt to resolve this, because if all these people stop paying their charges at the ports, that's going to be a huge revenue block for government that government is not going to be getting. So the earlier this issue is resolved and amicably done, the better for the country. So would keep very close eyes on this and update you subsequently and see the way forward. This is still 3FM 92.7. You're listening to Hot Edition. When we return, we'll take you to Parliament, where some members have been sharing their perspectives on this particular issue happening at the ports. Plus, we'll do politics. Stay with us. 92.7 is the dial, 3FM is the station, Hot Edition is the program. Martin Asiedu-Dartey is my name. Let's go on to some other stories, still relating to the one we just left off, which is the development of the ports. And in Parliament, the ranking member has been commenting on this new AI system that has been introduced at the port. Ranking member on Trade, Industry and Tourism Committee of Parliament and MP for Jobbing South, Michael Asiedu-Dartey, is insisting that government must scrap the AI system. He was speaking earlier on Sunrise here on 3FM, where he indicated that the operator is inexperienced and cannot be trusted to handle such a system. Let's listen to him.
Government cannot just come out with a new policy that is alien to the system to create a mess. I mean, for all the import community, and also to create a mess report for not only the stakeholders involved, but even Ghana Revenue Authority staff, because it's creating a lot of backlog traffic at the place, and it is also very complex to understand. Note that the True Dare Investments Limited, that the government has awarded this contract to, is an inexperienced artificial intelligence operator in the world. True Dare was established, you said that it was established on the 28th of December 2024. 28th of December 2024. And they were established to operate as asset management and general trading company. They don't have any expertise in customs tech. They don't have any expertise in artificial intelligence. They don't have any expertise in IT in general. So they are even going to ride on the back of other companies. So that is even more dangerous. Note, another key important thing is that since the incorporation of this business, they have not undertaken any business or done any work in this world. The first business they are doing is the one that they are doing for the country Ghana. And what the government also told us, that the company doesn't have, they are doing that at no cost to the state. That is also not true. These are things that we believe that is not true. So, looking at their inexperience and the fact that they don't understand the tech system, it means that they are going to also hire a third-party contractor to work on their behalf. Note that all these things will be riding on ICOMs. So they are going to parasite on ICOMs, which is there already, that we are running. So why should government take this decision? Hire an inexperienced contractor who doesn't have so much expertise, who doesn't have experience in an area to operate.
And that is a minority ranking member on the Trade, Industry and Tourism Committee of Parliament, Michael Asiedu-Dartey. In more news this evening, the Supreme Court has indefinitely adjourned the hearing of a review application by the NDC Pandai parliamentary candidate Daniel Nsala Wakpal against the Apex Court's decision, which annulled the Tamale High Court's decision dismissal of the parliamentary elections. The NDC parliamentary candidate is challenging the Supreme Court's 4-1 decision, which nullified the 2024 election and the subsequent rerun order by the High Court. Lord Eduasari was in court and has come through with his report.
My supporters, the people of Pandai, they all know that we have fought a good fight. And we're happy. They didn't say they didn't rig the election. They say we're out of time. And we'll see. We're waiting for the ruling and we'll take it from there.
The Supreme Court on January 28 by a majority decision of 4-1 quashed the order of the Tamale High Court, which nullified the election of Matthew Nyendam as the Pandai Member of Parliament. Dissatisfied with the judgment, the NDC parliamentary candidate Daniel Nsala Wakpal filed a review application against the Apex Court's decision. In court on Tuesday, April 14, however, before the case was called, Justice Gabriel Scott Pwamang, the president of the panel which heard the original suit but was on another matter, indicated that there had been a misstep and as a result would have to set a date for the hearing of the review application. Justice Pwamang then adjourned the case indefinitely. In response, Gary Nimakon, lead counsel for the Pandai Member of Parliament, informed the court that there had been a new development after discussions with the NDC candidate. Counsel for the applicant, Sika Abladu, noted that her client had considered withdrawing the application, but Justice Pwamang immediately indicated that this would have to be put before the reconstituted panel when the case is heard. Member of Parliament for Bimbilla, Dominic Nitiwo, spoke to the media after proceedings.
They took their matter to court.
Indeed.
So whatever decision they take, we are just waiting.
Okay.
We just say, all we know is that the highest court of the land is handling this matter. So we are just waiting. At the end, whatever happens, we are here as Ghanaians.
Martin Asiedu-Dartey, TV3 News, Accra.
And that's a report coming in from Lord Eduasaria, court correspondent. And so your thoughts, like we indicated, are always welcome. It's now time, though, to do business. And Bismarck Eusa has joined us.
Tradition on 3FM 92.7 with me, Bismarck. Also coming up tonight, Ghana records sharp surge in trade surplus to a record $4.2 billion in fourth quarter of 2025, driven by strong rebound in export earnings and improved external sector performance. For your company now to the details. Ghana recorded a sharp increase in its trade surplus in the final quarter of 2025, driven by a rebound in export earnings. New data from the Ghana Statistical Service shows that the surplus rose to a record $4.2 billion, up from $1.5 billion in the previous quarter. My colleague Michael Obodu has the rest of the story.
Total export earnings for the third and fourth quarters combined reached $17.5 billion, compared with imports of $11.3 billion over the same period. Gold remained the country's dominant export, accounting for more than 70% of total shipments. In the fourth quarter alone, gold bullion was valued at 72.4 billion cedis, more than 7 times the value of cocoa beans, the second largest export. Overall, the top 5 export products made up 86% of total exports, underscoring Ghana's continued reliance on a narrow range of primary commodities. On the import side, mineral fuels and oils dominated, with the top 2 products valued at 10.9 billion cedis. Motor spirit, commonly known as petrol, accounted for 6.4 billion cedis of that figure. Cumulative data for 2025 shows gold accounted for nearly 63% of total exports, followed by cocoa beans and crude petroleum. Together, the 3 commodities contributed almost 80% of export earnings. Gas oil emerged as the leading import product over the period, making up just over 11% of total imports. Regionally, Asia remained Ghana's largest export market in the fourth quarter, accounting for more than half of total exports, while Europe accounted for about a quarter. Asia was also the leading source of imports. The total trade surplus is expected to support Ghana's external reserves and could ease pressure on the local currency. The country's gross international reserves stood at $13.8 billion at the end of December 2025, pointing to an improvement in its external position. However, analysts say the figures also highlight Ghana's continued dependence on a limited number of export commodities.
That was a 3 Business News Desk report on Ghana recording sharp surge in trade surplus to a record $4.2 billion in fourth quarter of 2025. And that brings us to the end of the business segment on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7 with me, Bismarck. I will start for more business stories. Please check out our website, 3news.com. Rick Wampofu is here for Sports Please Stay.
good evening and welcome to the sports segment here on Hot Edition. We start off from the Champions League, where the semi-finalists are set to be decided. Two of the semi-finalists are set to be decided today, with the other two tomorrow. Barcelona will attempt an unlikely comeback as they look to overturn a 2-0 deficit against Atletico Madrid after losing the first leg at home. Diego Simeone's side have a 2-0 lead to protect and will fancy their chances at the Metropolitano, and Barcelona have produced some sensational comebacks in the past and believe anything is possible with Lamine Yamal in their corner. The second quarter-final tonight sees Liverpool host PSG, with Ancelotti's side also needing to overturn a 2-0 deficit from the first leg against Paris Saint-Germain. Let's hear from the Liverpool boss.
I'll just first of all remind them what the score was. That was 2-0. Where it felt completely different, as we all know, but the end result was 2-0. And second of all, we've shown so many times this season in big games that we are able to get a great performance. We've also shown a different face. I'm completely aware of that, but many of our games that we've played were very good as well, especially in big games. And not all of them, because not all of us are together for 1.5 years, but for the ones that have been with me for in the past 1.5 years, in the 49 home games we've played, 46 times we were able to score 2 goals or more. So yes, we did not play in all these 49 games against Paris Saint-Germain. I do understand that, but as we all know, the Premier League and the Champions League opponents we had over here were also very strong and are very strong. So yes, there's a belief that we can do special things tomorrow, but we also need to be very, 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 very special tomorrow to achieve that, because we're playing against the champions of Europe. So that makes the task more complicated, but not impossible.
That was head coach of Liverpool, Ancelotti, speaking ahead of their second leg clash against PSG. The match between Liverpool and PSG and Barcelona and Atletico Madrid would kick off at 7, and you can get updates of that on our social media handles at 3SportsGH. Now, before we go, Javier Mascherano has announced his resignation as Inter Miami head coach, citing personal reasons, just one season after leading the team to the greatest achievement in the club's history. The Argentine coach confirmed his decision in an official statement, thanking the club, players and fans for the time spent on the bench. In the 2025 season, his first in charge, Mascherano achieved a remarkable result, winning 2 major trophies, including the club's first ever MLS Cup title and setting the record with 101 goals scored in a single season. My name is Oriel Kwampo, for bringing an end to Hot Edition here on 3FM 92.7. We'll be back again tomorrow to bring you the latest news across Ghana and the globe.